and I was training at a gym making $12.50 an hour. And that was like literally my goal was to make $500 a week so I could get a low efficiency apartment. And my mom left our family when I was about 12 years old, came home from school one day and she was like, I'm leaving. And I was like, where are we going? She's like, no, I'm leaving. And I was like, so it really messed up a lot of my relationships with women because I always had this paranoia that they were going to leave or cheat and so when I met my wife, or at that time, she was just working out at the gym I was training. And for some reason, dude, she just like believed in me and she like saw more in me than I saw in myself because I had messed up everything in my life, like college, Division I scholarship, I kicked out of the Marines, went to prison. Like, so I didn't see, like I was scared to death to even like make steps because like I'm gonna mess up.
They tried to count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend.
All right, and we're beginning now with wave 4. I hate to say we're back like we've been at a break or something, but we're starting wave 4. We're gonna let this new wave and panel of gentlemen introduce themselves, and we're gonna get right into it. Starting on my immediate right, introduce yourself.
What's going on, you guys? My name is Sean Surface. First, I'd like to start off by thanking all you guys in this room for allowing me to be in this spot. I mean, obviously, like if you look around, you know, there's a difference, right? Like, and the fact that you guys allow me to come and take part in this with you guys, like, I can't even explain to you how much that means to me because identity is something that me personally, I've always struggled with. I've always been in rooms exactly like this. Like, these are the rooms I've grown up in. These are the rooms I've always felt more comfortable in, to be honest with you. I have white friends, black friends, but I've always felt more comfortable. But then I've always also felt like I've never fit in either way. You know what I mean? So identity has been something that I've always really struggled with. And I really feel like that's why. So a lot of you guys know I spent 6 years in federal prison for selling drugs. And I really feel like that's when I was selling drugs, it was never really about making money. It was about, I felt like that was an identity to me to where I felt needed and I felt important and I felt like I had a purpose because people needed me. Although it was all fake, I ran with that. And my lack of identity caused me a lot of problems in life. And it's something that I still struggle with. I still struggle with identity and worrying way too much about what people think about me. And it's something that like I would like to learn how to get better at. And the only reason I have even progressed at all is 100% because of the God and faith thing. I know that the Lord has equipped me with everything that I need and the person that he wants me to be. And I'm trying to learn how to walk in his obedience and how to be comfortable with who I am as a person. And it's something that I'm still gonna like, it's a work in progress. So I really feel like until you can actually find your true identity, it makes it hard to try to find your true purpose, right? Because like, and I know that they're separate. He explained it awesome earlier. He said you have identity and then you have purpose. Identity is who you are and purpose is what you're supposed to do. But I feel like now I'm just finally able to find my identity because my purpose is all starting to align. And I really feel like that's why I've struggled so far in life just with purpose is because I didn't have that identity. So I don't know if I'm just rambling, but again, you guys, thank you very much for having me. It means so much to me that you guys will allow me to be in this space with you guys. So
absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm Anvalon Elliott. I go by the hashtag I am Anvalon because we are in a season of I am and who I am. Dealt with a lot when it comes down to identities. I'm pretty much good in whatever room you put me in. And a lot of that came from the different ways of growing up. You know what I mean? The acceptance issues, the not feeling like you're enough, and then you make yourself enough. You know, you make yourself accepted. You become that chameleon that's good in any place with anyone because you can adapt well. But what you find is every time you adapt, you shed a little bit more of the skin that you truly are. And the way that goes, and it made coming up not so rough until you really got involved with some people who you had longevity with. You know what I mean? Because now it's difficult for these folks that they never know who you're gonna be the next day. Right? So marriage was what gave that was that cutoff right there. Because no one ever really got that close enough to me to really kind of see who I am until the wife. And she like, look here, bro, I won't love you, but who are you today? You know what I mean? So it teaches you that, and then you start to elevate and you start to move different because then you have children, and now you got to be the same person for your children. Children need consistency. Marriage needs consistency. Businesses need consistency. I have to be that same honorable person today that I was yesterday and that I plan on being tomorrow, and things of that matter. So, long story short, I give you a little taster, little taste tester, right? Right. So, had a situation go on with the wife, and it was like, oh, we're gonna work out. We ain't eating fast food no more. Not for the next 90 days. We're gonna do it like this, right? And then I was like, I don't feel like cooking tonight, right? We're gonna eat out, just one. She's like, all right, cool, let's go. 3 days go by, and she's like, well, I want to eat out. And he's like, no, we ain't doing this. And she was like, well, you ain't said the other day, right?
Right.
So the consistency of who you are and the respect, you cannot expect individuals to respect you for who you truly are in these certain situations, and you have displayed something totally different to them before. Those were the lessons that made me want to grind, to find out who I really was, to identify myself for who I am, so I can become comfortable and stop stressing over who I have to be tomorrow and who I need to be for that person and that person. And now I'm spread thin, and now I'm going crazy. Now I'm trying to figure it out. I'm losing my little hairline, my beard turning gray. I'm wanting to get weight. I want to get buff, but I'm skinny with the big head. Ain't none of that working. So the true identifying factors of who I am came into play through those. Now I'm bold with it. I am Anvalon. Very nice to meet you. Today, tomorrow, next year, next month, until my heart stops beating.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. My name is Adrian Yeoman. I identify myself as a servant leader, really in all aspects of my life, whether that be my job, at home, just kicking it, just in the identification of myself, when we talk about home, but the identity of being at home, we talk about, my wife. I will not go into detail about my wife or any feelings that she may have, because I do not have her permission. So
Understood.
So I have, those are, the things, the life lessons that one learns. I'm, 45 years old at this point. So the experience, I've been with my wife over 20 years. So just keeping those things in perspective, the growth that I've had before her, with her, alongside her, and having the community that's grown around me, between the guys here, the accountability brothers that I have, and having the format that's presented here, it's big, and I'm appreciative of being here.
Absolutely. Now, you had a question?
I did.
Go ahead. I got something, but I'm gonna put a pin in it, because what you got?
Right. My question was kind of simple. It's in listening to you brothers and others today, I realized that, the discovering of identity is a process, and it's not something that you just, wake up with overnight in most cases. And so for our young men, right, and our teenagers that are adolescents and transitioning into manhood, right, what kind of advice would you have for them as it relates to finding their identity? Because I realize that many young men are struggling with self-identity, right? And so therefore, because they don't have any worth, then they don't value your life or their own. And so I think it's really critical that they understand who they are. And so as men who have discovered and are discovering your identity, what kind of advice would you have for those younger men coming behind you as it relates to identify who they are and basically what their identity is?
I love that question. That's an awesome question. So I started a mentorship program when I got out of prison. And right now I have 13 Hispanic and Black young men that we mentor with a program called Second Chance Mentors. And that's a huge problem right now is these boys don't know who they are. And I mean, I could even take it back. It's similar stuff with me. Like I used to listen to Jeezy and think people were really out, you know what I mean? And think that, oh, this is real. This is what people are really doing, but it's just entertainment. And these kids are now living that same sort of life. Say, oh man, Juice took all these pills and was having fun. Like I'm going to take all these pills too. Like these kids are trying to live the same life that they see in entertainment and rap. And they don't have a true identity in who they are. They're trying to live through entertainers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the only way that, not the only way, the way that I can best try to show them their identity is to model and be the type of person that because none of the kids in our program have a father around. There's maybe one or two of all 13 that have a dad that they even talk to, right? So what we try to do is model what their identity can hopefully eventually become, at least morally, right? Like everyone has to have their own identity, but instead, like we can tell them all day, like, what was it, David Jones? Yeah, he was saying, his dad and young was talking, God telling him about scripture and stuff. But at that young age, we try to push, the Lord and let him know God loves you. And that's what you need to find your identity. But it's kind of hard for a young teenage boy to be told scripture and God if he hasn't experienced anything like that for himself. So what we have to try to do what we do is we just try to model, at least morally, what we want these boys to be able to eventually take on as their identity.
Right. Y'all got anything
You mind
to
if I
add
tap
to that?
in?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tap in on that one, man. Just speaking, I was just at that age not too long ago, right? There's open doors. So every young person that I've run into in this day and age or that I've seen, they want a shortcut, right? We don't really want to have wealth. We want to look like we have wealth. I want to buy a house to say I got a house, not to establish ownership and equity in something, right? Or that they have the right model, but the wrong intentions. You see, what has gotten me to this point, and I'm 31 years of age, man. I would say that I'm in a better position than most people in my age bracket. And it's not because of my doing. It was because I stuck my foot through the open door that was there for me. Every brother that I have run into has allowed me to stand on the shoulders of the work that they have put in. And that's the shortcut. That's the cheat code. So it's the right model, but the wrong intentions. Utilize your network. Utilize what's out there. There are safe places for you. There is a way to pop your best, and they'll know what I mean when I say that. To pop your best, to flex the way you want to, without being put at risk, without feeling like there is no know-how. There used to be a saying that there's no manual, there's no roadmap to this, but there is now. It's been created through the blood, the sweat, the tears, the agony, the pain, the exposure, being vulnerable. It's already been done for us. We can follow the roadmap now. We can follow the manual now. They've even made it so easy where we can put it in our ears and listen to it while we drive. It's there. You just have to utilize it.
Right.
And I would take that a step further because what I've seen is the youth are out there and they are actively searching for that leadership. I think that it's going to be incumbent upon us to recognize that and present that positive role model. Be open to that mentorship, create that brotherhood. That is similar to this community right here. It's we have a meeting of minds. We are exchanging each these experiences. And I can tell you that every man that's been up here thus far, I may not have the exact same story, but I can find an intricate piece with each story that was up here, and I can identify with that. So in doing that, again, when in coming up, I had, several mentors. I still look for mentors today. So I constantly see myself as a work in progress. So again, that's going to be the same thing that we pass down to our youth. That's what we should be, as men teaching our sons, our those young men that do not have fathers. Grab somebody, teach, so that they can pass that on later on during their life.
Right. And just to kind of close that out, I'd have to agree with a lot of that. And it's twofold. I have something I would tell the children, but I also have something that I would tell the mentors. As far as the children, it's a matter of there is a tomorrow. The biggest mistakes that I look back on that I made, it was as though I didn't think it'll catch up to me. I didn't think that if I go max out this credit card right now and I'm 18 years old in college, if I don't pay this off, oh well, cut it up, throw it away, and it goes away. That's the ignorance I had in college. My mom telling me, don't do this. I didn't listen to that. I didn't adhere. But later, as I became an adult, guess what was right there waiting on me? That credit report, that credit card that I cut up, consequences and repercussions. That's another thing we don't discuss with these children. You and your friends, or you in a bad situation with some guys at a club, nightclub. It's 6 of y'all. It's 2 of these guys. You get into an altercation because you feel like we outnumber these cats. This is what we doing. But then you walking down the street and then it's you and this guy one-on-one, or it's 6 of these guys and 1 of you. But because nobody ever spoke to you about conflict resolution, nobody ever spoke to you about, hey, just do the right thing. Even if nobody's watching, just do what you know or have been taught is right and let that be the guide and just walk away. That way, if these guys do see you again, they're going to perhaps return the favor. This guy was the one that spoke up and told his boys, get off me. So now I got to pay that forward. My boy's about to jump on him. Hey, let him go. He let me make it. You never know what action that you have, the opposite action of that later is going to pay off in your favor. Now, to the adults, we have to make or get into the habit of having the taboo conversations with children. We think that they're going to get it through osmosis. We think they're going to get it the hard way like we got it. If children don't understand how much a house costs, they don't know how much a vehicle costs. I sat my 16-year-old son and my 17-year-old cousin down, and I said, hey, give me a budget. If you had to leave the house right now, how much a month would you need to make to go survive in this world? One of them told me $2,200 a month. And the other one told me, oh, about $2,000, I'll be good.
Oh, Lord.
Let's talk about it. I walked through rent, because obviously you 16, 17, 18 years old, you're not going to buy a home. We went through rent, insurance, gas, food, water, electric, et cetera, et cetera. Their minds were blown. But think about that. Somebody dump you off in college, or you leave home and you go start your life as a young man, and nobody really sat down and had these conversations with you. And now you're finding it out, but now the consequences are greater. So now if I do this and now it ruins my credit, I go sign my name right here and they approve me and give it to me. And I go straight to the mall and max it out in 3 days. Now what do I do? So these are the lessons that I didn't receive as a kid that I try to be mindful of sharing with children now. So I appreciate that question, brother. I really do. So kind of transitioning, piggybacking on that, this is the 4th wave of the discussion we've had all evening, and there's a lot of things that are said, and it keeps resurfacing. So I'd like to kind of put a twist on this panel and ask this group of guys, be it if you're married, if you're dating a woman, or you take a woman seriously, whatever the case may be, it could be a past woman you've had in your life. We're talking about identity. How can you, or do you have an instance of how a woman played a part in your identity, what you identified yourself as, or did she influence you to identify yourself a certain type of way? And does that still happen to this day, good or bad? For instance, I'll go first. My current wife, I've always told anybody that I talk to, my current wife has always been the spiritual anchor for my household. She's far more versed in the word of God, the Bible, religion. She grew up in an active word, God teaching church and environment. I grew up in a As long as you go to church, I don't have anything else to say to you. You did what I asked you and expected you to do. So my lessons, my information, I didn't receive. I didn't want to be there. I had to be there, which I've heard several guys say that. So when I did get there, I didn't put forth the effort to get the information. So now she had a different perspective. So she has conversations with me now to this day that I still didn't understand. I still didn't know that that was how that was supposed to go. So I credit her faith, her determination to meet me where I'm at and have these life conversations with me about it. And to this day, that molds me into the person I am. I'm still learning and changing and altering my current identity, clarity. That's that word again. She's shedding more clarity in that area for me so that I can be more purposeful with the decisions I make that affect my household. Because it's not out of structure, if you will. Oh, the man lead the house and et cetera. That's ignorant. If you're ignorant and your partner, your wife, has more information about how life goes than you, and because she's the woman and you're the man, you don't listen to or adhere to that information or that knowledge, that makes you ignorant. So you have to be better than that. Sometimes being the leader means who has a better idea than me, share it with me. Let's go. Carry us. You give it to me. I'm going to uplift you, and we're going to take that idea because it uplifts the whole household. So I know I kind of got long-winded with that question, but what you got?
Well, I can hit that from a bunch of angles, just honest, being honest with you. I look at myself as the guy that always tries to do the right thing. And for me, I'd say that in doing approaching life that way, I place my not only myself, my position with my wife in some jeopardy at some instances. And it's because in doing that, I made her feel less important. So I'm still a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress because, again, it's hard for a tiger to change the stripes. I'm in there and, man, I go to work, just in daily life, man, I see somebody that needs some, a hand, I put my hand out, so, and again, in doing that, especially if it involves a female, you add that to the pot. Well, why are you giving this person, this attention that I should be getting?
Right.
And at the time, you don't, as far as in my naivety, you don't really capture that until, after the fact. As far as, what I do, I may get and actually this did happen. I get a social media message asking me questions. Hey, this person is beating up on me or blah, blah, blah. What should I do? Well, this is what you should do, and then I catch myself. I'm like, because it got to the point, can I take and have, you help me out? I was like, no, you know what? Call 911. Because I was like, in recognition of things that I had done in the past and led me down this road. I was like, you know what? That's probably not going to be the smartest decision for me to make at this time. So again, it goes back to identity. I am who I am. But I also have to recognize, what's important to me as far as, the make of my family, the reason why I get up and do my job, so I gravitate, I have to really sit down and think in some instances, if I do this, what is the consequence for me, at that point? What are the possible consequences for me? Even though I may have, the best of intentions in, putting myself out there or getting it, playing this role, how is that going to affect what I have at home, as far as when it comes to my wife? And it could be fire and brimstone.
Right.
So.
Ooh. You need to think about it?
No. It's there, man. It's that attachment style.
Mm-hmm.
It's the attachment style, man. Growing up the way I grew up, it was always women for me.
Right.
It was a no-brainer. I think I came out of there looking for women. Right? It happened that way. Mama's boy, had the acceptance issues with my dad. So it was always my mom. My mom, my aunts, my grandmothers, my sister, the women.
Right.
Always women. Women who saw their past trauma and then projected that over on me. I want to raise you to be the man that I always wanted and needed and so far and so on. So now, fast forward on down the line, I'm committed now, I'm married, right? 9 years in March. I remember 9 years in March. I know you listen out there, babe. I got you, right? 9 years in March. Throughout that time, when I would see women in trauma situations or in danger or anything, immediately attached to me because of my attachment style. That is a huge part of your identity. Right. Whether you have a dismissive attachment style or whether you're dealing with sympathy or I grew up around a whole bunch of narcissists. So in my mind, I'm just trying not to be like them.
Right.
But trying to help individuals and get to that point, that attachment style. Once I identified that attachment style, it came pretty easy after that. Yeah. Hey, look, can't do it. But what I then found was now I'm a dismissive. Now I lack empathy. Finding that fine line in between what to risk it for, what not to risk it for, how it goes on. But circulating around back to the question, how has the women in your life played a part in your identity?
Right.
A woman is going to play a huge part in any man's identity, no matter what goes on.
Specifically you, though. That's true. We can make a lot of blanket statements, but you personally.
Specifically me, majority of wars has been fought in the world been happening about women. If it come down to me.
Well, hold that thought. What you got, Sean?
I got a cool little situation with this. My wife has 100% been a huge projector in me stepping into my true identity. When I got out of prison, I had absolutely nothing. And I was training at a gym, making $12.50 an hour. And that was like literally my goal was to make $500 a week so I could get a low efficiency apartment. And my mom left our family when I was about 12 years old, came home from school one day and she was like, I'm leaving. And I was like, where are we going? She's like, no, I'm leaving. And I was like, so it really messed up a lot of my relationships with women because I always had this paranoia that they were going to leave or cheat and so when I met my wife, or at that time, she was just working out at the gym I was training. And for some reason, dude, she just like believed in me and she like saw more in me than I saw in myself because I had messed up everything in my life, like college, Division I scholarship, I kicked out of the Marines, went to prison. Like, so I didn't see, like I was scared to death to even like make steps because like I'm going to mess up. She was like, let's open a gym. And I was like, I've got $17 to my name and a 490 credit score. And she laughed and I thought that was it. I thought, man, I probably just lost this girl and everything by telling her that. And sure enough, a couple months later, she brings it up again. She's like, no, Sean, like we could do this. I feel like the Lord's telling me, and she's also the spiritual leader, like my wife is. And I know it's not how it's supposed to be. And I'm trying to learn how to step into that role as a spiritual leader, but I'm not fully there yet. But she was like, no, Sean, like, let's do this. Let's open this gym. I have the money. And I had no idea that she had money like this. I had no clue. But she believed in me. And that's like kind of what I had always needed, a loyal woman who believed in me. And it allowed me, you know, we opened the first gym, it took off, you know, like I just said, we just opened the second one.
Right.
But it's like, and I just say that because I needed the woman that God had for me, to be able for me to step into my true identity. And the only reason I know now that I feel that I'm actually stepping into my identity is because I feel the purpose and I feel the impact that my life is having on other people, which makes me feel like I've finally found the right identity.
How did you manage to muster up that kind of courage to trust that she wouldn't leave and walk away, or that she would be that loyal to you feeling the way you felt about yourself?
It's a really good question, but I think there was just a piece of I saw how much she loved God. And that's the only, I know that she's loyal to me, not because of me. I'm not the man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like doing anything special. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that my wife loves the Lord, and I know that she would not disrespect me because of her, like, because how much she loves God. And to me, that is what, that's why I have zero, like, it's really cool, like, to be able to say that I have zero concerns over what my wife is doing or where she's at or who she's with. Like, my wife is as loyal as it could get, but it's not because I'm the man. It's because he's the man. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
So that's
Well,
really
that's the realest thing I've heard in my life.
Yes, yes, indeed.
That's true.
That's
though.
real, son. I like
true.
that, man. I like
It's
it.
definitely not me.
We could take this thing 30 more steps, but I'll let it roll right here, and we're gonna wrap this panel. And we have one more group of guys to go after this, so we'll see y'all in just a second.
Count me out, I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just pull it out and count for nothing when I'm feeling great. Give my baby little